But before he starts, I just like to know how many of you here actually know how artificial intelligence affect our life. Any guess? Or what is artificial intelligence? Anyone want to make a guess? Okay, artificial intelligence basically is everything in our life. Okay, the most common one is the most common one is mobile phone. Those who use Apple, Siri, I believe some of you talk to Siri. Okay, Siri is artificial intelligence, and for Android it's Bixby. So these are all artificial intelligence. And since most of us here are Singaporean, I believe you visit a website like IRAS, CPF, and you see a little lady there by the name of Jamie. I don't know why all of them use Jamie. So Jamie is artificial intelligence. So you can basically ask her any question and she'll answer you, or to the closest answer to your questions. So it's in every part of our daily life, including military. Okay, and for Israel, we have a very close relationship with them. We share a lot of technology. So technology like interceptor, they use AI, artificial intelligence, to intercept missiles. Medical, okay, they predict what kind of sickness or illnesses, how can we treat them, or even robotic in medical field to do microsurgeries. Vehicle industry, they use a lot of robotic manufacturing services. All these are part of AI. Okay, so basically, artificial intelligence means leveraging on the technology, on the data collected, and try to predict and tell you what is best for you. And to the more advanced, actually, to help us and being part of our life. Like in Japan, for example, we have a robotic receptionist that's sitting there. It's a robot that answers and talks to you. Okay, so this will continue to advance, and we believe in the near future we'll probably have robots serving us. Okay, this is the future. And on top of that, I think in the optical industry, we are one of the first to leverage on this. The fact that we have a huge data. We started in 1972. Shamir started in 1972. So for all these years, all the data that's coming from all of you, all the valuable data are collected, and then we analyze it. So from this, we're able to tell, and in this presentation from Amnon, you will hear two very distinctive words. One is AI, artificial intelligence, and the other one is visual age. Okay, we leverage on AI to tell you what is your actual visual age. But having said that, I'll leave that detail to Amnon to explain to you further. So without further delay, before that, let's watch a short video to give you a better understanding about artificial intelligence.
In the last decade, artificial intelligence has gone from a science fiction dream to a critical part of our everyday lives. We use AI systems to interact with our phones through Siri and Alexa. Cars like Teslas interpret and analyze their surroundings to intelligently drive themselves. Amazon monitors our browsing habits and intelligently serves us up products it thinks we'd like to buy. Even Google decides what kind of search results to give us based on who it thinks we are. Artificially intelligent algorithms are here, but this is only the beginning. Because in the future, AI is going to change everything. But do we want it to? Well, what exactly is artificial intelligence? Maybe a better question might be, what exactly is intelligence? The simplest descriptor is collecting data about the world and using that data to make predictions in the short and long term. That applies to both people and machines. So when we talk about AI in our lives, we're talking about everything, from a computer being able to read a handwritten document, like an OCR reader, to a robot performing complex surgery on its own, even to a massive database, categorizing your personality based on what you've written and looked at online. Because the world of AI is so incredibly large, let's take a look at some of the most groundbreaking developments we expect to see in the very near future, and whether that's a step forward or backward for society. First and foremost, AI systems are already primed to take over thousands, if not millions of jobs. Any job that consists of a human taking down information from other humans and inputting it into a system is likely to go obsolete. So cashiers, receptionists, telemarketers, and bank tellers are all on their way out. As self-driving cars, self-operating drones, and other conveyors from A to B get more complex, we'll also lose jobs like truck drivers, postal workers, courier services, even pizza delivery. Factories are also becoming fully automated. So are car washes and movie theaters. Even my job as a journalist is threatened by rapidly improving news algorithms that can gather information and deliver it faster and more accurately. But as society changes to accommodate an all-machine service world, it'll also open up new jobs for the next generation. Writing software, repairing and maintaining robots, and developing new and better systems. Most notably, machines are also primed to take over dangerous jobs. Firefighting, mining, deep-sea oil drilling, construction, and other careers with high mortality rates will be replaced by machines that can't get sick or hurt. We don't know what an all-AI workforce will look like yet, but many economists believe that the world might be a brighter and more rewarding place with machines taking over the more dull and hazardous jobs. As we develop better AI, we're discovering that it can not just replace human labor, but also think in ways that humans can't. Algorithms that can monitor and process massive amounts of information and make conclusions based on patterns in that data are poised to change every avenue of society. Starting from something small, like optimizing traffic patterns over time to figure out the best routes to take or how to fix roads and rebuild highways, all the way to something much more serious, like monitoring epidemics and disease and stopping them before they spread. Machine learning has even shown to analyze human behavior and predict warning signs by recognizing common language used by people like sexual predators or terrorists, and alerting law enforcement to take action. Then again, that same technology can be used to track down political dissidents or serve fake news to vulnerable people while blocking out competing opinions and information. Just a few tech monopolies control the latest breakthroughs in data collecting, processing, and analyzing. And while we may hope that AI will help advance our society, it may just end up working to benefit the tech industry and only those who can afford to take advantage of cheaper, smarter human replacements. Maybe to the detriment of society. But for now, we just don't know what the future of AI holds.
So one thing we know is how Donald Trump won his president campaign. Obviously, he leveraged also a lot of AI. Okay, so without further delay.
Okay, our next guest speaker comes all the way from our HQ in Israel, and probably the most qualified person to speak about autograph intelligence. He's none other than Amnon Kanter. Amnon is an alumni of University Haifa in Israel, and he graduated with a master's degree 12 years ago. He joined Shamir upon his graduation as a lens designer. For 7 years, he and his teammates were responsible in designing the best lenses that Shamir Optical ever produced, like Autograph 3, InTouch, and Spectrum Plus. For the last 4 years, he was seconded to do competitors' intelligence, and just last year, Amnon was promoted to head the global product strategy. So let's welcome Amnon.
Thank you, Jichin. Thank you, Alan. Thank you again. Thank you, everyone, for coming here. Can you hear me? Okay. Do I need the microphone?
Yes, you need.
Yes. Okay. So I'm excited to be here and introduce you our latest progressive lens, our most advanced progressive lens design. We call it Shamir Autograph Intelligence, and in the following session I'll explain why. Okay, so before we start to develop the lens, we ask ourselves, what's in the market? What other companies have, what we have, and is it enough? What we could see that every company, including Shamir, used one design concept to fulfill everyone's needs. But can it fulfill everyone's needs? What are everyone's needs? Okay, this is the first question that we ask before starting to investigate. Okay, as Alan just described, we looked at the optical industry, but beyond. We look at all different industries to try and figure out how people get answers today. Is it the same as before in the past? And we counted the artificial intelligence trend. You all recognize Facebook, Google, Mobileye in the transportation industry, and of course Amazon. And this is how people get answers today. They ask questions. But artificial intelligence alone is not enough. You need big data in order to analyze this huge amount of information today. Big data are a large amount of data, information, and record of people habits. So we looked at Shamir Big Data, and our big data for this product was recently 5 million RX orders in our systems, and that's the cloud of prescription distribution that we encounter globally. Again, 5 million orders, it's a huge number. It can tell us a lot. One of our findings was that the main orders sits in addition to 2.5, and there are relatively few RX that ordered for young period and older one. Okay, interesting. But what can we do with it? So we tried to study harder and deeper, and we looked at the visual age of the person and started thinking whether the visual age is connected to the visual needs of the person. What those needs, as you remember the first question, those needs are the same. Visual age refers to the physiological age of the eye, the required addition, and it's generally correlated to the chronological age, but not similar. So this big data wasn't enough for us, and we conducted a huge research, consumer research for 1,300 people, asking what their needs. What are the daily activities that will reflect on their needs? Okay? And we didn't settle for consumer research, but we had extensive interviews in Shamir HQ, sitting with people for hours, interviewing them, developing lenses for them, asking their feedback, and going back to the sketchboard. And those are the 5 main activities that we could see from those interviews and research, and we correlated to their needs. Okay? So the first one is driving and outdoor. The second is how often people switch their vision distance from far to near to digital and back. The computer use, how often they use their smartphone and tablets, and reading books and newspapers. Those 3 are well known. Those 2 we found out in the interviews. From these daily activities, we could understand that we can do something different in the lens. We took these needs and transformed them into those activities and transformed them into those needs. And this is what we discovered, okay? older presbyope use the near distance much more than younger presbyopes. Interesting. Not much more, 5 times more for older presbyope than younger presbyope, which means the near vision zone is much more important for older than for younger. Going up in the design, the digital zone. Digital zone, we refer to the zone that in the lens that you would use when you read text on tablet or smartphone, and you see the opposite picture. Young presbyope use digital phone much more than older one, and it's reasonable. It's not surprising. The number is surprising, and these age groups are surprising. The difference between the age groups. This is an interesting graph, and to show you that this research, we went to this research with a lot of wondering what we will find. And intermediate, which we refer to the distance for the computer, you can see a drop here and here, while the middle group of presbyope are using the computer more. Why? We don't know. We don't have all the answers, but we could see different phenomena than before. That was surprising. Switching distance frequency, again, it's all about this level. We look at the phone, we look at our phone and tablet all the time. When it rings, we look at it. When it doesn't ring, we even look at it more. Why nobody calls us? Where is the text? What's going on? Maybe my battery is dead. The switching distance frequency is much higher in the young presbyopes, and it went together with the digital distance. See? Same graph. Same behavior. And the last one was the far vision. How important is the far vision to all the presbyopes? And as you can see, the far vision is almost flat, which means the importance of the far vision is almost equal for all age groups. Okay, but then again, what can we do with it? We summarize all these graphs, all this data, all this information into what we call visual age. Visual age, again, refers to the correlation between the addition, the physiological state of the eye, and to the visual needs. That was our biggest finding, that there is a correlation between your needs and your age. So, again, what can we do with it? When we looked at our current progressive, the one design concept, as we started with, you can easily see that it can't answer everybody's needs. Okay? Those are the needs, the visual needs. And this is the one design concept, with about the same priority for each section in the lens. Am I going too fast? It's okay? That's another picture, that's another graph to show that if you put all one design concept and extrapolate it to the versus addition power, which represent the visual age of the person, you'll get the same importances for every visual age, while your visual needs are different. There's a gap. You can see the gap. This is what the young presbyope needs. This is what he gets from one design concept. Too little of switching differences, not enough importance for switching distances, and digital, of course, and too much of a reading. So the weight here should be done differently. And of course, it's just an example for edition 1, 2, and 3. But then again, what can we do? How can we make it differently? What can we do with this knowledge and information? And that's where artificial intelligence helps us. Okay? So we have the big data, we have the research, we have the interviews, we know different people, which is explainable. Me and my dad have different needs. We have different needs in shoes, we have different needs in our cars, everything is different. So why should one lens fit him and me the same? So we took Shamir Autograph 3 proven technologies, okay, IntelliCorridor, S1 Quadro close-up, and natural posture. IntelliCorridor helped us, I'll speak about it in a minute, but IntelliCorridor makes sure that the corridor is just fixed how you like it to be in the design. S1 Quadro gives 4 times more stability to S1 to regular S1 lenses. S1 compensated. There's many names for S1. Natural posture make you feel comfortable when you're reading, when you use the computer, and when you look into the file. And close-up is automatically adjusted near vision zone for reading. Okay, so those 4 technology we have in Autograph 3, but we added 3 more. Eye-point technology of AI. This is amazing tool we developed in Shamir. It's a hardware and software, and of course user interface that actually tells us where the patient in those interviews in Shamir actually looked when he read, when he looked too far, and when he looked too intermediate. And it's amazing. It's an amazing tool. It's based on a pupil tracker and a user interface to get this input. And with this tool, AI, eye-point technology AI, we didn't need to simulate how the patient will look through the lens. We could see where they look in the lens, and then go back to the sketch table, change the design, make a better design. Our second technology, which is patent pending, is wrapping up our 12 design concepts. In this product, we actually developed 12 lenses using our newly engine, which we call artificial intelligence engine, which we'll see in the next slide. But continuous design is making sure that every visual age gets his own lens that he needs. But more than that, let's say today you are dealing with a patient with 1.5 addition. Tomorrow, in 2 years, he'll come back, he'll get a lens that is very, very close to what he wore, but for his needs. Continuous design wraps all those 12 lenses together into one product. So you don't need questionnaire, You don't need other parameters from the customer. It's the same as ordering as one lens. So, when in the past we have traditional design with about 30,000 possible parameters that was integrated into the optimization engine. Today we have 30,000 times 12 in order to make more personalized lens. But it's not a lifestyle personalized. Lifestyle is defined in the visual needs. It's the correlation between the lifestyle, the visual needs, and the visual age. So each lens gets its own priority and separating. Our visual artificial intelligence engine, which is actually a platform. It's platform. It will help us design and develop our future lenses because it's a platform. Platform can enable you from doing great stuff. You don't need. It's not only making today's lens. It can help us make the next lens. Our artificial engine implements the continuous design that wraps together all the designs and adding all the frame parameters, all the old metrics of parameters together. The end result is a product ahead of its time. We don't know anyone that correlated the visual edge to the visual needs, and it's amazing lens. It's working, we know it's good, and we are very excited launching it. Although I'm a little bit nervous now. Okay, so how would it benefit your patients? We put a lot of effort designing this lens for young presbyope, because we know when you get them young, they'll be very, very difficult to live for them. So we made super soft design with lots of attention to switching distance frequency and to the digital device, of course. And it's optimally answering all 5 needs. Okay? We did the research, we checked it, we designed, we redesigned. Here we were sure we got the best solution. And again, as you could see in the video before, this lens is selling. We are selling this lens, again, don't shoot me, about 12,000 a week around the globe. USA was the pioneer, but Australia and Canada joined them. And we have great success with this lens. We are very excited to launch it. We love it. Thank you. Okay. So at the beginning of this presentation, you could see the global distribution of our access, but we wanted to take this step further. Again, we're not settled with only today's design. We're going forward. As soon as we finish and launch a product, our R&D team are already working to improve it. We're not settled. We know that the world is going fast and forward. So we started looking deeper into Singapore market. This is the global distribution of our access, and this is the Singaporean orders that we have in our system. You can see it's different. Why it's different? It goes to the minus. Goes to the minus, and you can see it better in this comparison. Okay, so this is the global again. This is Singapore. As you can see, this lens is perfect for the market because as we see it, you have a well-developed market, which means people understand more than the average why they need progressive lenses. They understand what are the benefits of multifocal. And how can I say that? Look at the young presbyopes. Double the amount of the global average, which means you have a perfect lens, you have a perfect audience for it. Better than in other places. Okay? Thank you. I'm here for questions.
Is there any questions for Mr. Amnon on the floor? If there is none, actually we had some questions from customers who gave us the questions much earlier, and we could discuss those questions with Mr. Amnon over here. Okay.
So let us start off by throwing some questions. So you're welcome to join in.
These are the questions that I got before the launch. We'll give Mr. Amnon a break. Amnon.
Where do you want me to stay?
You can sit here. Okay. The first question is, what is Shamir Autograph Intelligence most unique selling point compared to our competitors' progressive lenses?
Okay, so the major innovation for Shamir Autograph Intelligence is the finding for the correlation between the visual age and visual needs. This finding helps us understand that today's design is not enough. From our point of view, it's not enough to hand questionnaire and get them back. We need actually different design for different people.
So that means every ad, the design is different, and every ad is designed to match the visual age of the person wearing it?
Yes.
Okay.
We have 12 design. It's a 12 design concept package in one product. But you don't need any questionnaire to order any other parameters from the patient. You don't need to hassle the patient.
So it's much easier to fit Autograph Intelligence compared to the competitors because you don't need to fill in any questionnaire. You don't need to ask too much questions. We have already matched the visual age with their needs. Am I right?
Yes, you're right, and moreover, when you ask the patient about his daily life, we usually are biased. Why we are biased? Because of the image of the person we want to be. If you ask me if I'm running a lot and am I active and I'm doing a lot of sports? Yes, of course. Every day I wake up in the morning and run and with weights and everything. But no, we are biased by the image of the person we want to be. Are you reading a lot? Every day. I read the paper every day. I'm well educated. The world doesn't work like that. We can't answer truly questions about ourselves without putting the image aside.
Okay, good. Then the second question is, what's the difference between visual age and addition power?
Okay, so the visual age is our finding of the correlation between your lifestyle, your needs, and your physiological age of the eye. So visual age helped us to design those 12 concepts.
So every ad has a different concept of design for autograph intelligence to allow the patients to adapt almost immediately.
Exactly.
Great.
And immediately it's very, very important for us because we don't want non-adapt. Non-adapt is one of the major concerns of ECPs. We know it all around the world, and the Singaporean market shouldn't be different.
So are you saying that for us, we almost guarantee adaptation when we use autograph intelligence?
This is what the testimonials tells us, that we have a simultaneously adaptation to the lens.
So that means the ECP in Singapore can fit confidently that autograph intelligence is almost the percentage of reject is almost zero.
I hope it will stay zero.
Good.
But more than that, our extensive research done not only to find a solution for design, for lens design. Our extensive research came to give you, our customers, full confidence. We did go back to the sketch and resketch the design and do it again and again and again. It took us a few years to develop this 12 concepts, but we are very, very confident with them.
A lot of people was asking me, what's so intelligent about Shamir autograph intelligence?
Okay, so again, our intelligence is for the extensive research, big data, and interviews that we perform in the process of developing this lens. And of course, the methods of and elements of artificial intelligence. We couldn't produce 12 concepts without artificial intelligence. It would be just too demanding to calculate this massive amount of information and data and draw conclusions from it.
Oh, okay. Right. Who are a target audience for this autograph intelligence? Can we fit like somebody who's already it's only 38 years old, and can we fit somebody that's way past 65 to 70 years old?
Of course, because of the visual age, which is deviate from younger to older presbyope, this lens is a premium design, which will fit good all presbyope and answer all the demands and needs of the daily activities.
Okay. Most of our competitors' high-end progressive design takes the patient lifestyle into consideration. When we fit autograph intelligence, do we need to take the wearer's lifestyle into consideration like the rest?
Okay, so the lifestyle questionnaire or lifestyle activities are already inside and define the visual needs, okay? But we took it one step further. We took the visual needs and correlated to the visual age, to the age of the person. And it makes lots of logic because me and my dad have different needs. As I said before, we need different lenses.
Okay. So, can you elaborate a little bit about your continuous design? What's the advantage of having continuous design for autograph intelligence?
Okay, so continuous design would assure that even if your age is not falling exactly on the visual age, you're still going to get a better solution than what is out today. Because the differences are small. That's why we call continuous, because it's smooth transition along the RX distribution.
Okay. Well, they also ask, what if the patient's visual need does not fit into the visual age profile? For example, if a person who's only 40 years old, instead of needing +0.75 or +1 add, he actually need a +150 or +175, which is actually not his visual age. Then can he still wear this autograph intelligence successfully, or what other alternatives does he have?
No, he can still wear it, and again, he'll have the best lens that is possible for his age, although he, as I just explained, won't fall exactly on some visual age. He can still will get much better solution, as you can say. You can look here. You can see here. Okay, so even if it's not exactly 1, but 1.25, you'll get a better design that matches preferences more than what you used to get.
Okay. The other question that I was being forwarded is like, can this design be coated with other coating like UV-IR or anti-fog?
Yes, we can. We have this design in the full RX range, and we can coat it with everything. There's no limitation.
Yeah.
As long as we have the indices,
Okay.
and we have.
Are you able to talk a little bit about UV-IR?
UV-IR is our premium coating that we only start to launch. I think Singapore would be one of the first markets for our launch. It's block UV, which is another threat to our visual health for the eye. It's got nice color too.
Okay. You use a lot of definition that is very new to our Singapore ECP, like intermediate, digital reading, switch frequency. Can you explain what do you mean by digital reading?
Okay, so I want to put the slide on. Okay. So digital reading, as far as we understand, it's a section in the lens between the corridor and the near vision zone, where we use comfortably the smartphone. Then we read the smartphone, and it's not exactly for a PC or for a book. It's different range. Place between them. Switch distance frequency is the amount of time that we raise the phone and look, or glance, and switching from one vision zone to another. Do you know how many times we glance at the phone a day? Any idea? Just throw it, don't worry. Just throw it. Throw it in the air. A day. Thank you, Alan.
100 times? More. 300 times?
300 times. Boom.
Because I do that.
I think, again, if you look at the graph of usage, you would see that young presbyop look at the smartphones much more than older ones, which means you're young.
Yes, absolutely. If I may add on, I think all of us experience this when it comes to switch distance. I don't know, most of you here drive, I suppose. And you have, this device where you hold your phone. I don't know how many times, myself, I do that. When I'm looking for, and I'm trying to read some texts, and there's a message. So that's switching from far to a very near distance, or you're driving. I know it's dangerous, and I know it's not allowed here, but we all do that. Correct, come on. So that's the amount of time that you switch, even while you're just driving, or looking for and trying to read a message.
Great point, because switching distance frequency doesn't mean only to the smartphone. It means moving in the lens, in the corridor, to the far and back, to the cell phone, to near and back. So the lens should allow it, should be as soft as possible, as dynamic as possible, and the best lens that we have in Shamir, that's for sure.
And I also want to add on something. I think when you talk about lens design and all that, it all boils down to manufacturing. Okay, I think all of you know that the industry has evolved to freeform. So there's no limitation. You can actually do all kinds of design on the lenses. This is freeform. But the thing is, most optical lens manufacturer would choose to have a design that they can market to everyone with one marketing message. And obviously, before all these technologies and AI and algorithm to pick up the data, the most obvious is the far, intermediate, and near. So all we need to do as a lens manufacturer and lens marketing company is to come up with a design that will suit the general public and promote it heavily. Because that will save us a lot of trouble. But in Shamir, we are not satisfied with that because we believe that we can do a lot more because it's a free-form manufacturing facilities now. You can do all kinds of design. And also, the user has already evolved in the way they read and the way they drive. Like I said, you're driving and reading at the same time. So, and then we come up with this concept. Okay, but then, having said that, it's very difficult to market 12 different concepts. So we put all these 12 different concepts into one and address all the different visual needs and visual age. So these are the things that we have done so far.
Okay, based on the data that you collected from Singapore lab, is there a chance that we can develop a lens, autograph intelligence, a special design for Singapore market?
Yes. Okay, so as I said before, our artificial intelligence engine is smart and it's powerful. We can only start imagine what can we do with it. We can probably, I wouldn't say today that we can, but we can probably do whatever lens we need and for whatever market we want. It's a powerful platform that allows us to make many changes into the design, but it will be driven on big data, of course, not just in the air or by our feeling. We'll investigate more. And yes, we started working for the next step.
So that means if we collect enough data, Singaporean data, for you can actually customize it for Singaporean consumers in that sense.
Potentially.
Oh, great. So let's work towards that. The other thing that the BCP would also like to know is that the current autograph intelligence design, is it very fluid? That means people like me, we will be aging in another 10 years time. So my lifestyle is very different from somebody of today's age. Let's say I'll be 60 in 10 years time. And then right now I'm 50. So my lifestyle is very different from the person who is 60 years old today. That means, what I'm saying is that, I'm asking is that, will autograph intelligence design adapt to my change of life, a 60-year-old lifestyle in 10 years' time?
Again, the AI engine, which we improve all the time, will be able to provide you with what you will need in 10 years.
So that
But for today, this is the best solution that we came with. It's a magnificent lens. Again, it's not one lens. It's big idea behind it.
good. That means I can. I'm not afraid that in 10 years' time, from your data, it shows that somebody who is older reads a lot more, than somebody of my age right now, because I use more tablets and more smartphone. So in 10 years' time, this lens will adjust to my lifestyle of today in future.
It can do whatever we want. Basically, we have a powerful algorithm. We have the AI elements in Shamir, and we have big data. So it's only a matter of asking questions and getting answer, developing, as Ellen just said, and manufacturing.
I think I just want to add on another point. The fact that this AI lens comes with 12 different concepts. So the whole idea behind it is to allow the patient to grow continuously with AI lens. So he may start at the age of 38 to 40 to 50, 60. So he can actually grow together with the lens because of the 12 different concepts. And again, because it's based on the correlationship between the visual need and the visual age. I just have one question for all of you. Are you clear about visual age now? Any question about visual age? Okay, so basically your visual age is your physiological age of the eye, not the person, not your chronological age, even though it's related. Because I can say that even though I look younger than I'm not, but our visual age are different, by the way. So even with the same age, we may have different visual age, because my visual may age a little bit faster than him. You know? So it's based on your visual age data that we collected, and we come up with this 12 different design. So I think the next question you all should ask is, well, how do I order this? Am I right to say that? Yeah. How can we order this?
Yes. You order this lens. It's better to bring us as much parameters as you can: BVD, fitting height, panoramic and pantoscopic fields, frame dimension, in order to get it as personal as possible. But you don't need questionnaires. You don't need to ask the patient what his needs. You know his needs. We know his needs. You don't need to frustrate him with filling up forms and stuff like that. You just enter his prescription and get the best lens.
So it's as easy as what you normally prescribe.
So what you need for this lens is just the normal fitting height, power, pentoscopic tilt, wrap around, and vertex distance.
Just like S1. If you want to get the best solution, order it with the S1 parameters. If you don't provide it, you get the default parameter which are being used in the design process, the lens design process.
Any other questions?
Oh,
Yes.
Sheikh, yes.
Just wondering that will the AI technology be available to other competitors anytime soon?
I'm pretty sure they will try to copy it.
I'm sure they'll try to copy something similar. And if they are able to do so, what will be the next step for Shamir?
I'm pretty, as I just said, I'm pretty sure they try to copy it. It's a powerful tool. They use it, as you saw, in the healthcare industry, in the automotive car industry, and everyone's going to use AI and big data. We are the first. And you have a big advantage when you are the first.
Yes, I agree with you that, of course, as we start to be the pioneer in digital surfacing, and we are pioneers in other things that others will follow us. Usually you can see that also we start with the blue protection and others follow us, and after that they have the money doing in the big shot. But here there's a tool that if you did not manage yourself during the years to track the data carefully in your system, and we built our system like this many years ago, it's very hard to go back to the data and analyze it carefully. So we have the advantage, Shamir, that all our tools from the very beginning are top high-level software that know how to manage this data. So it's not so easy, and you saw that we have also patent pending on some technologies. So there's barrier. Now I want to go back to a question, a good question. What in Singapore, if the design, because you know in each country there's also different behavior. So what I liked and I saw, and that's why we decided also to start one of the countries in Singapore, that the statistics of the data that we have in Singapore, it's almost very similar to the average statistic that we took to this data for the autograph intelligence. Having said that, this is a learning design, which means we will have more and more data coming, and all the time we adapt ourselves to the specific country, without saying we have different design, but for the specific country, according to the data will come more and more and more, we all the time maximize the potential for the specific countries. But yes, it was a good question because those countries, that there's a big differentiation from the average and what we have in statistics, so we are adapting different approach to those countries. Singapore is, we can see that it's feeling very nice in the average.
I think one of the reasons is because in Singapore, most of the ECP are fitting a lot of progressive at an early age, and that you can see from the graph. Versus to a lot of other countries, they may be slow in adapting progressive, or it could be a price factor. You know, some countries are too poor to afford to buy a new progressive lens. So there are many reasons, but whatever it is, it's all the data that we collected that tell us a story. So it's not something that you pluck from the sky. As what Yagan mentioned earlier, it's through many years of collecting, not just now. So you've got to collect the data, and that's what artificial intelligence is all about. Collect the data, analyze it, and through the algorithm, they will tell you, okay, you fit into one of these 12 different concepts. Philip, do you have any questions?
We need to sort of give the age, you said visual age is very important.
Yes. I think it's a good point.
We need to give the visual age when we prescribe lenses.
No, you need to give the addition.
Yes.
The visual need.
So basically from country to country, I think the different concepts that you have all depends on the addition. So each patient age group will have what you call different loss of accommodation, right? So as we age and our addition increases, we tend to have less accommodative ability, and that's why you need to increase the intermediate zone for patients within that age group. Is that correct, what I'm saying?
It's correct, but again, we use this big data and interviews in order to find it and be prepared with a lens that will give a priority to intermediate.
Intermediate, yes, of course, because younger people, like younger patients with low ads, they don't have that much problems with intermediate.
Of course.
Because they find if they're looking at a computer at intermediate distance,
Yes.
they accommodate quite well.
Yes, but because they use the smartphone more, they need different power profile than
One power one.
power profile, which means they need to get to the addition even if it's small. They need to get it maybe faster,
Yes, of course.
and they need less aberration because they are new to the game of progressive.
Yes.
So they need less addition. I mean
Aberration.
less aberration,
Aberration.
not addition, less aberration.
For those with a low addition.
Because they are only stepping in the multifocal world, you don't want them to say, well, I don't feel good, I have swim effect.
There's another question that I wanted to ask. What about the swim effect that we normally get with progressive lenses? Because I have a personal experience when I got my intelligent lenses 2-3 months ago, right?
And
Has that been reduced, the swing factor, when you swing from one side to the other when you swing your head?
I haven't heard this issue, but we can check it for sure.
Because I found that it's much less, especially when I look down to
It's
the ground.
much less.
Yes.
Okay. This is why we play. We give you a compliment. Yeah, I understand the opposite. So yes, we made a tremendous contribute to the lens in order to lower the distortion, push them to the side, to the periphery, so patient would feel them as almost don't feel them. I was surprised because all of our testimonials, and we collect them not only from Singapore, which you saw before, we collect them in Australia, in the United States, Canada, and we keep monitoring it. We keep monitoring the success of this lens, and I don't want to say no issues at all. Sometimes still people switch lenses and then say they can't see. Of course, you put left and right and left.
Any more questions?
Yes, will there be any difference from a low edition to a high edition in terms of the high point power? Will there be any compensation made on the high edition as compared to a low edition when it comes to the distance power high point? Will there have any difference?
Between low and
Low
high?
and a high edition?
No difference.
So at the high point, it will be measured according to what is being.
Yes, ordered.
Because we do have a colleague that actually has an issue when they receive this lens and realized that the high point power is not exactly what was being requested.
When you say the eye point, you're referring to the distant reference point or the fitting point?
The fitting point.
The fitting point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, Andrew, I understand. Yeah,
Right.
actually I know who the person is.
I think she measured the power not at our distance reference point, but at our fitting cross, which Shamir is a bit different. We don't measure at the fitting cross, we measure at the distance reference point. Secondly, yesterday, both Amnon and I actually dissected the problem because just to maybe share a little bit with the rest.
Do you have the lens?
I have.
Do you have the frame?
I have the three with
You
me.
can show it.
Actually, the problem is actually, I'm going to see her. She's a high probe, and then she measured, she's a high probe, and she was complaining that the power is overclass. Firstly, when I saw her, I told her, for us, we measure our distance power at the distance reference point and not at the fitting cross. Then yesterday, we dissected her problem, both Amnon and I, and we discovered some peculiarities, like her pento was actually a minus, which doesn't really happen in a normal life. It's usually plus. The other thing that we discovered is that the frame is actually flat, but the wraparound was given as 9. So with this specification being very different, that could explain why also. Yeah.
Was very strong. Compensation is a tricky game. You have to be specific, but when you be specific, you get the best result possible in the industry. That's for sure. The compensation is not different from a older design of Shamir yet. We're working on some new ideas too. But when we saw this frame, we straight away. What? We could note that the frame is almost, as you can see, almost flat. and the panoramic given here was 10, 9.9. So again, because it's a sensitive or delicate game, we need to make sure before we just saying yes, maybe something is wrong in the lens. And the standard in the industry is not checking the power at the fitting point. It's checking it in the DRP, distance reference point. We learned it from our books. I mean, from theory. We did. It wasn't that unique for Shamir actually, because. And there's a reason why you measure it in the distance reference point, because you don't want the corridor power to influence. And we have few designs that especially gives little power in the fitting point for the digital reading, for the digital device usages. So we have the IntelliCorridor to help us decide what power will be in every section in the corridor. Okay, so this is why the industry, when you put the lens in the lens when you put the lens in the lens filter, this field would be much more stable. So you check it on the DRP, and we'll go there later and try to see if we can help. For sure.
Can I just ask a question to the audience? How many of you actually check the distance reference point at the fitting point? Can I see a raise of hands? Okay, good. Because I was actually challenged by some ECP that they are checking the distance reference point at the fitting cross. And they challenged me that they have been doing that for the longest time. But all of you have been through optometry courses, and the distance reference point is there for a reason. It's for distance. And for distance reference, yes. And that's why there's a distance reference point. But I realized that a handful, not all, but a handful ECB are actually checking the distance reference point at the fitting cross. I can understand maybe it's because some of other company distance reference point is very close to the fitting cross, and therefore they take it for granted and they check it on the fitting cross. But if you go back to the books, and you can see that there is a distance reference point, the near reference point, and a fitting cross. And this distance reference point is there for a reason. It's for distance.
My former role, I could see even a phenomena that companies would not mark the fitting point, and there's a good reason why. Because you don't want to ruin the point in front of the pupil. So some companies don't even put a point here, and it's a good logic. For me, it was harder to analyze them, of course, but you had only two. And, of course, invisible marking. When you have this invisible marking, you can straight away find all you need. And thank you for asking.
Any more questions? Andrew, I'll address that one later. Any more questions? Yes, yes.
Be done in no time.
Yes, yes, it can be done at no time. Any more questions?
Any more questions?
If there isn't, move on. If there isn't, then we can conclude the event. For those who drive, please let us know because we have prepared cash card for you. It's with Jean, so on the way out, just ask Jean, then our sales lady, for a card. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Now, let's thank you very much for your attendance and coming here. We will proceed on to our lunch, which is at Cafe Fernet. It's down this building, is next to this building. The sales team will bring you there. Yeah. Please.
Thank you.